All right, we are back again with another wonderful day here in the Diaz household. Yesterday, obviously, I came in and it was a difficult day for me. I was very, very exhausted. I had to work. I also had 2 workouts to do, lots of grocery shopping, lots of other stuff happening in my life. I actually had to cancel D&D, which I regret. I really, really wanted to push through on that. Apologize for the greasy hair. Spoiler alert, that's because I did my workout this morning. I'll go ahead and just check that one off. So today, workout, morning, good. Let's go ahead and get into the board. I forgot to switch over and bring that up. There we go. Not sure if you guys got the ding or not, but everyone loves the ding, right? So I'll just go ahead and play the sound. But yeah, yesterday was really, really hard, and I was not sure if I was going to motivate myself enough to actually do my workout, but in the morning I decided, like, dude, just get on the bike, and after the bike you'll feel committed. So I did that. It was difficult. I didn't do a super intense route. I still did one that was pretty intense, one of going 8 miles and sweated my balls off. So check mark on yesterday's workout. And then yesterday evening I did feel a little bit more motivated after we shopped, because I found some protein powder, and I was hurting. I mentioned that I was hurting so much yesterday from my workouts, the 2 lifting sessions that I had, and I hadn't really recovered. I was like kind of nervous that my calorie deficit wasn't yielding enough protein for my recovery, because that's always a delicate balance. Usually if you're trying to build muscle or gain strength, you're not really in a calorie deficit, but you're really focusing on your protein for recovery, amongst other things, obviously. But with the calorie deficit to cut, I like lifting as a form of exercise and not just cardio. I think combining the two really motivates me and feels like I'm putting forth a lot of effort into taking care of myself. So I've been a little bit nervous about that because of how much I was hurting, but found some protein powder, got it home. I had seen it online and I found it in Costco. So I was like, fuck yeah, this is what I want. And then I read the reviews, and the reviews were like, the newest batch that came out in mid-November, they changed the flavor from creamy vanilla to simply vanilla. Now it leaves grit and it tastes salty. I was like, fuck, I just bought a batch and it says simply vanilla on it. So I mixed it up. I did lift, so I'm proud of myself. Ding on that. Went very well. I wasn't going to do forearm exercises because my forearms were killing me, and at the end of my workout, I was like, just fucking do it. So I did. Came in, had my shake, tasted fine. Tasted like my old shake, which it was a vanilla-flavored protein powder, which is just skim milk for me. I do skim milk. I think I do a cup and a half, which is around 120 calories, maybe 135. And then 1 scoop of the protein powder is 110, so it's like 245, but it's like 30 grams of protein. So I had that, and then I also had chicken for my meal, and it tasted fine. I was very happy with it, knowing that I have like 70 scoops of that I can have, so it's going to be beneficial for me. And my body actually like really, it's like I crave the flavor of it, so when I'm working out I'm like super looking forward to having it, because it also curbs my sweet cravings. I don't have a lot of them, but when they set in, knowing that I can just work out and then have a protein shake is like almost motivating to have a protein shake. So yeah, I just did that, and had chicken. I actually made Robin a steak last night for dinner, and then I used the Grand, I forget what they call it, on the pan afterwards, and I just tossed in some water and the garlic that was going to go with my steak, or excuse me, that was going to go with my cut up chicken, and then just mixed my stuff in there. I was like, fuck yes. It was delicious. It tasted steakish. It tasted honestly like you get chicken that's cooked like next to your steak if you go to Hibachi, and I was super happy with it. And then I weighed in today, and I was like, I might weigh in heavy, but as long as I'm not hurting, and I woke up, full mobility back, I'm not hurting at all, the protein actually did its job, and I had such an intense workout that I felt really good about that. And then I weighed in at 2.6 pounds down, so I was like, holy shit. I weighed myself 4 times. I usually do, if I get a number twice, so if I do 1 and 2 and the number's the same, I go with it. If I do 1 and 2 and the number's different, I weigh until I get, the 3rd time usually is one of those 2 numbers, and I'll take that. This time I was like, that's a pretty big drop. So I weigh myself 4 times, same thing each time. So might see some backpedal tomorrow. That said, this might be a result of the fact that I went like 16, 17 miles on the bike on my cardio day, and this is just like later results, but very happy to see it. That brings my total weight loss so far at day 6 at 12.2 pounds. Obviously, this is an average of over 2 pounds a day, which is not typical and not something that is sustainable. But when you're heavy like I am, and I am heavy, that is something that can happen, especially at the beginning of diet and exercise. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I moved my Excel sheet over into Google Sheets because the Excel app on my phone logged me out. Every time I would back out of it, it would log me out, and I'd have to log back in. I was like, fuck this. So I just moved it over to Google Sheets. I do not like Google Sheets more than Excel, especially when I work. The formulas, for some reason, do not stick as well in Google Sheets as they do in Excel. But it pissed me off. So I moved it over here. It's the exact same thing. I've had 2 meals today. I've had 208 and 206. I got turkey breast from Costco, which is super juicy and really good. I'm going to have a diet 40 calorie a slice bread, and then ultra thin provolone Sargento, which is like the best cheese for me when I'm dieting, because it still tastes like I have a full slice of cheese on there, but it's just cut thinner. And provolone's at least a potent enough flavor where it pairs with the turkey really well. Obviously, I'm just bloviating and bullshitting and talking to myself, but I really enjoy this video blog and like doing this. It's I don't know, really settling into my routine and making me feel like there's an extra level of accountability. So if I try and talk myself out of it, it's like, gotta go tell the camera I didn't exercise. But yeah, things are working well. Obviously, this graph didn't transfer over very well. It thinks this bar is dates, and I'll have to adjust that, but it should technically be weight. And yeah, that is the trend that we're looking at right now, but I will adjust that like I mentioned. So meal times today are pretty fucked though. This formula is not in here, so but I'm doing 11, 1, 3, 5, and 7. The reason I had to do that is because we got up at 4:30 in the morning so we could watch the F1 final race where Max Verstappen won the race. Lando Norris came in third, and Lando Norris sealed a victory for the World Drivers' Championship by 2 points, which is ironic because Kimi Antonelli lost a position to Lando on the second to last race on the third to last turn on the last lap of the race, which was him just going wide, which resulted in Lando getting 2 extra points, which means that had he not done that, it would have been tied at the end of this race, and tie goes to the racist. Tie goes to the driver who has the most wins on the season, which would have been Max. So a little bit bummed there, but it is what it is. Like, Lando is deserving in my opinion, but yeah, we watched that this morning. As soon as the races were over and the presentations and all that fun stuff was done, I was like, I have to go back to sleep. I'm too tired. I can't have 2 nights in a row of like minimal sleep. So went back to sleep from like 7:30 until 10:30. Some meals are a bit close today. I don't like eating late, so I'm not going to stagger them at my normal 2.5 hour intervals, because that would put me closer to 9 or 9:30, I think, for my final meal. And if I go to sleep at a reasonable time, I will have heartburn, and I don't want that. I'm trying to get rid of that, and so far, so good. So that's good. Exercise schedule for today. I think I might have swapped the blues and the greens, and I'll go in here and update this in the future. But today is chest, shoulder, chest, shoulder rehab, triceps, forearms. So that's what I'll be doing today. And I think it says I'm scheduled for, today's the 7th. Yeah, it says I'm scheduled for a double cardio day. But this is 1 day off, so I will get that adjusted. Doing pretty well there. And my food info, basically, if anyone's wondering about these tabs, which I doubt they are. I doubt anyone's actually watching this, but still, I like to cover all of them. The Snarked, what up? Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'm loving hearing about your D&D campaign, by the way. I'll continue talking with you on the side about it. But anything that I eat often, I try and grab and say, hey, how many calories per whatever, so I can track it. 45 calories per 301 grams is just an insult that Google gave me. So I'm like, okay, I guess like 0.1495 calories per gram. So I always have to do math there. But cucumbers are usually like 10 calories per cucumber. And I fucking love cucumbers. Corn is one of my favorite veggies to pair with protein for dinner. Apples, eggs, blah, 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 on and so forth. I get all my proteins from Costco because I feel it's best to buy in bulk, and I do think it's pretty quality meat. And then there's some stuff that I like to get, like chicken salad, which is not low in calories at all. It's got mayo in it, but it's delicious. And it mixes things up a bit. And then like the poke. Anywho, it's a bunch of bullshit. So yeah, send some pickles. I would fucking love that. Robin would love that too. She loves pickles. I have to do Wordle and my tier list in the next 5 minutes. I'm trying to keep these all to around 15 minutes, especially because the Bears play the Packers. And I need to see the Bears. I really, really want them to win today. Always start out with clout. That's what I do. My routine is clout and then raise. If you haven't done Wordle yet, run away. So let's start it out. That's a good start. All right, we've eliminated all the vowels, 5 of the top consonants. We have 4 of our letters, 2 in the spots they need to be. Flute. Boom. Easy peasy. Damn, man. I'm on a good streak. I've been nervous that I'm going to hit one where I need to get this done in 15 minutes, and when I hit it, it's going to be like a difficult one that I have to think about, and I have to end the stream without actually getting to it. The question is, okay, since I am talking about needing to watch football, let's just do NFL tier list with logos. That'll be fun. And I'm going to do this pretty quickly. And this is based off of not my opinion, but what I think of their franchise. The Bears is a storied franchise. I love them. I adore them. They haven't been good lately, but overall they have the second most championships ever and the second most wins ever. And they're turning it around. Also, they have some of the greatest running backs in the history of the game. Obviously, they don't have the sort of success that other teams have when it comes to quarterbacks, but that's where I stand. The Patriots definitely put themselves in the S tier. I'm just going to go one by one. I actually love the Buffalo Bills. I think if they start winning a couple of Super Bowls, they'll be considered one of the top franchises in sports. Dolphins, B. They're trying to get out of there. The Jets, also B. The Ravens, I'm going to put Ravens today. They're technically the old Cleveland Browns, but they gave the actual records back to the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland Browns is one of the worst franchises in sports history, in my opinion, because they were literally killed off and then brought back, and they still can't seem to get it right. And they had a quarterback like Baker Mayfield who they just ran out of town because he was not developing fast enough for them. I think it's ridiculous. Bengals, I would have put it a D or C before. With Joe Burrow there, they're a B. If they get a Super Bowl under him, I'm putting them up to A. Steelers are one of the best franchises in sports, and their fan base is fucking great. Steelers fans are great. Every Steelers fan I know is a stand-up dude, and I love them. Texans are fairly new-ish. I'm going to put them at C. They have moderate success, and then they have really shitty seasons, too, so it goes back and forth. Colts, this might be because I'm from Indiana, but I'm putting them at A. Jaguars are B. They're relatively new, I think around 30 years old. They've had decent amount of success, and I would say that they're probably around like a 600% win percentage. Like, they've won 60% of the games. Tennessee Titans, similar story there. They used to be the Houston Oilers. Not a whole lot of success. 10 years ago, I probably would have put them a little bit higher. When they had Derrick Henry, I probably would have put them a little bit higher, but they are the worst team in the league right now. So maybe that's what's blinding me. The Broncos are a really good franchise. I don't talk about them often, but they also have the same colors as the Bears. So putting them up there. Kansas City with recent developments and having Andy Reid as their coach, S tier. Andy Reid, I think when his career is over, is probably going to be considered the greatest coach of all time, which isn't shocking. He's won so many Super Bowls. It's really, really hard to compare him to Bill Belichick. But Bill Belichick being at University of North Carolina right now and not doing well, I think is like hurting that overall coach mentality for me, because I think Andy Reid has had extreme success at every level he's ever coached at. Raiders are dog shit. Raiders would have been like an S or an A, but they've just been so bad for the last like 20 years. And honestly, when they had John Gruden there, the last time they actually went to a Super Bowl was the year after Gruden left, and that guy Bill Callahan, who took over for him, just ran Gruden's offense against Gruden and just handed him a Super Bowl. And since then, it's like they've been cursed. Chargers, I actually quite like the Chargers. Cowboys, they haven't been great in recent memory, but everyone knows who they are. Everyone knows their records. Their fucking team in the 90s was legendary. I don't like the Cowboys, but I have a lot of Cowboys fan friends who I really do like, and we can commiserate because our teams are basically like the underachievement nexus of the universe. So I'm going to put them at S tier because just everyone knows who they are. The Giants have a long and storied franchise. They might not be doing great now, but they're the only team to defeat the fucking Patriots in their undefeated season. And Eli Manning taking 2 Super Bowls off of that dynasty. Very impressive. Plus all the shit they had before. And Lawrence Taylor's like the greatest defensive end or defensive lineman of all time, in my opinion. There's a lot of debate there. I might change my opinion on a day-to-day basis. Eagles, A tier. I'm not going to go too far into that. Washington Commanders. I'm so glad they changed their name because Redskins is one of the most offensive things you can say to a Native American person. And honestly, just be better. Why not be a piece of shit? They have a lot of storied history, and they have a great quarterback right now, even if he's hurt. This is controversial. The Lions have been bad for a very long time. I think the Lions are one Super Bowl away from being an S tier because that fan base is so fucking loyal, and they've been through so much. They absolutely fucking deserve it. Green Bay, I hate them from the bottom of my heart. They're absolutely an S tier. They have the most wins. They don't have the most Super Bowls. That distinction belongs to the Patriots. I think they have 3? 2 under Lambeau, 1 and 1. Yeah, I think they have 4. But yeah, honestly, like, I don't think there's much left to say about that. They're a great team, great organization. I just happen to hate them because they're the rival of the Bears. Vikings are an A tier. They need a couple Super Bowls to put them in the S tier. Maybe just one, actually, because they have some great purple people eater defenses, and they also get a lot of great running backs, and they've actually been blessed with a lot of great quarterbacks. It's kind of a travesty they've never won a Super Bowl. They just have like these fucking traumatic events that prevent them from winning, and it's always something where it's like, damn, man, I can't believe that happened. Falcons, B tier. They've had great seasons and they've had bad seasons. Panthers, I'm going to put them on the same level. Yeah, because the Jaguars, the Panthers came into they came into the league at the same year. The Panthers have had a little bit more success. They're probably closer to A tier, but that's where they're going to sit. Saints currently are B tier. Buccaneers have had some of the worst seasons, but I think in the last 30 years, they've really turned everyone around. So they at least have a formidable defense every season. Cardinals are kind of dog water. The LA Rams, previously the St. Louis Rams, if they wouldn't have moved around so much, I think there would be a lot higher sentiment on them, but they are an A-tier team. 49ers are also one of the most famous franchises around there with a ton of success. They haven't had a lot of Super Bowl success recently, but they've been to a lot of them in the last 15 years, and they always beat the Packers in the playoffs, so I got to put them there. And Seattle is an A-tier. They probably would have been lower before. Hasselbeck, the Legion of Boom, and the success that they've had recently. They're pretty close to A tier. I think one more Super Bowl and they're going to get, they're pretty close to S tier. So, definitive list, saving it, locking it in. I'll check it out later. NFL franchises, save. Boom. Everyone can decide whether or not they agree with me or think I'm stupid. Either way, I'm leaving now. I have to go watch the Bears game. Thank you to anyone who watched this. I love you. I will be back tomorrow. Goodbye.